Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. All right, first things first. A couple things to talk about before we get to this week's guest. So this weekend, I sat down and I watched a documentary that was, I think the word inspiring is an understatement, and it's kind of weird to me that I got so much inspiration from this, but a documentary on Netflix called Look, Mom, I Could Fly that is based on Travis Scott's life. For people that don't know who Travis Scott is, climb out from under a rock, but Travis Scott is one of the biggest rap stars in today's world. Married to Kylie Jenner, has platinum songs with so many huge artists, but he has a documentary that came out recently, and I have been seeing it all over my social media, all over every timeline, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so many people talking about this. And, usually, I listen to Travis Scott's music, but I'm not like a crazy super fan. Like, I'm not dying for it, you know what I mean? But to see the range of people that have said that this documentary is incredible, it definitely made it stand out in my head. So I had some free time this Saturday, sat down, and I watched this hour-and-a-half documentary. And let me tell you, it was incredible. I knew nothing about this guy, so I didn't know what to expect. Big rap star, you think like, oh, it's a documentary, he's going to be smoking blunts, sipping lean, whatever he does. Kylie Jenner is going to be in there, whatever. I definitely didn't think much of it. But I watched this documentary, and I realized that Travis Scott is something more for people than just a rapper. There's accounts from fans that they do little quick interviews in there, and it's so, motivational ain't the word. To hear these fans talk about what Travis Scott's music and his art gives to them was incredible to hear. And he did such a good job at documenting his life. There's so many incredible things in this documentary that are just like mind-blowing to me. So, it opens up, you see him performing in front of, it got to be 15, 20,000 people. He's just on top of this stage. It's insane. There's pyrotechnics. There's so many people. You see his big, the cover of his Astro World tape with his big inflatable head and everything like that. And it's incredible. And I love seeing things behind the scenes, you know what I mean? And this dude did so good at documenting his entire life from the beginning to now. And like I said, you see him performing in front of all these people, but then it cuts to him performing in front of 15 people, 3 of which he already knew. So it's just like, and that was 4 years prior. And I don't know, it was just so motivating to me to watch this. It's just like, it made me, I was about to pull out a notebook and start writing down bars. No, I'm just kidding. I'm never going to write down bars, but I do take motivation from people. You know what I mean? Like different people that are in different situations and that make things happen in a different way. I use that as inspiration. I get motivation from that. And I strongly urge you, if you have time to watch this, I feel like you don't even need to be a fan. Like you absolutely do not even need to be a fan of Travis Scott to get an appreciation from this documentary. But it's called Look, Mom, I Could Fly. It's on Netflix. It's an hour and a half. It is absolutely worth it. Absolutely motivating. And that carries on with our theme this week. So the reason everyone is here, I'm sure we got a lot of new listeners because my guest this week is larger than life. Courtney, or Baby Coco, or however you know her, is an incredible, just fucking badass. All around badass. Runs a super successful business, Baby Coco Lash, which specializes in false lashes. She's been hustling false lashes for a minute now. She's the originator of the Coco pose. If you go on Instagram and you search hashtag Coco pose, you're going to get a grip of women, guys too, because there's already a photo of me on there doing the Coco pose. But you're going to see all kinds of photos of these people doing this signature pose that Coco is is known for. But she's also a fucking warrior who is currently fighting stage 3 synovial sarcoma. So synovial sarcoma is a very rare, aggressive form of cancer. And I mean, I've seen her profile come up on my timelines numerous times in the last couple years since her battle began. We have mutual friends who shared her story and who shared photos of her in the thick of all of her chemo and radiation. And you know, I click on these posts and I see this, and you know, you look up this Instagram and you see a beautiful girl who's just living life and enjoying life and everything like that, who just kind of got stopped in her tracks by this crazy, super aggressive, evil disease in cancer. And this is the entire journey from her point of view. About 6 months ago, I hit her up on Instagram and I was like, hey, I'm from Pittsburgh. She's also from Pittsburgh. I hit her up in hopes that she would want to come on my show and tell her story. The reason I wanted her to come on my show and tell her story is because in looking at her profile, in the midst of all this battle with this crazy aggressive cancer, through everything, I seen so much positivity and motivation and, you know, just inspiration from her. You know, photos of her looking, you know, close to death in a hospital bed with just like positive shit she's trying to say to try to help people, to try to, you know, let people know that people aren't alone, let people know that she's trying her best and she's trying to live her best life in the midst of all this fucked up shit that's happening to her. And I noticed it, and it stuck with me, because honestly, if I was in her position, I feel like I wouldn't even be able to smile ever. I just feel like that it wouldn't be fair, and I feel like that I would have a grudge against the world, but Coco does not. She tends to, I mean, from my point of view, she seems to be a glass half full type of gal. And that definitely stuck with me. So I hit her up and I was like, hey, I run a podcast in the city. I talk to interesting people about what they do and how they got to that point in life. And I was wondering if you would feel all right to come on my show and share your story. The reason I asked her this is because, you know, I feel the majority of people have experience with cancer in the form of a loved one that is older. You know, I'm sure that there's people here that have experienced cancer either themselves or know a younger person who's had to deal with it. But, you know, I mean, I would say a lot of people have had some experience with an older loved one, and I'm not taking anything away from an older loved one having cancer, but to have like a beautiful young woman who is full of life be stopped in her tracks, I just felt the point of view from her would be valuable to, I mean, anyone really. I mean, 29 years old, to just, you know, kind of just have your world flipped upside down is insane to me. She started out by saying that, you know, she had a small like pain on her arm one day, and then, you know, one thing led to another, and all of a sudden she has a 13 centimeter mass growing under her armpit. And it's the size of a grapefruit. Like, I mean, I've seen pictures of it. There's pictures on the Instagram, and it is just, it's powerful shit. It really is. It's heavy shit. It's very, very heavy. And I explained to her that I felt that her story might help someone who's listening right now. And she hit me back and she was like, hey, I'm going to be back in the city. I would absolutely love to come on and talk to you. And, I didn't expect anything back. I mean, you look at her Instagram, she has a fucking 250,000 followers. Like, who am I? I'm just a regular kid from Pittsburgh who is, shooting their shot to try to have a conversation with someone who could maybe hopefully give some positivity to someone that's listening. And in the midst of all this cancer battle and all this crazy shit like this, she's running a successful cosmetic business. I don't know if it would be called cosmetics, but she runs a company called Baby Coco Lash, which is a company that specializes in false lashes. And she's been doing it and she's been killing it with it. And, she's running this business while she's fighting the stage 3 cancer. And, if you look through her Instagram at all, like she's been through it all. I mean, there's photos of her where she looks, it looks pretty bad. And 18 months ago, she looked pretty bad. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. But I had the privilege to interview her on Friday, and the life and energy that Coco has just was. I mean, it oozed out of her, just smiling, happy, bubbly, just so sweet and so nice to me. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't have to ever hit me back. It turns out, we couldn't make it work the first time she was in Pittsburgh. She doesn't live in Pittsburgh anymore. And, we couldn't make it work at first. And I was like, oh, well, whenever you come back to Pittsburgh, hit me up if you'd like. And I didn't even think of it. I was like, oh, that ship has sailed. That opportunity is past. And months later, I get an email that said, hey, I didn't forget about you. I want to do this podcast. And that shit meant so much to me. So, this episode that you're about to listen to right now is Coco's whole story about her battle with stage 3 synovial sarcoma, and how she could keep a positive outlook on life during all this. And hopefully, people listening right now, I hope that this episode could kind of give you some motivation and some inspiration to get off your fucking ass and do what you want to do with life. Shit just comes to a halt, and it could happen to any one of us. And I mean, I tend to have some, I have days where I don't want to fucking move. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do anything. I don't even want to be a person. But then I see people like Courtney, and I think to myself, like, she's out here and she's making the best of every day, at least trying to. And I get motivation from that. I get inspiration from that. And I'm very, very thankful that I got the chance to speak with her. And I really appreciate, I just really appreciate her. I really appreciate her and her story. So without further ado, episode 87 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Baby Coco.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. Yeah, it was weird though, because I have my right eye is worse than the left one, and they were just like, you're gonna be able to see as soon as you're done. You could just throw your glasses away. And I was like, we'll see.
Yeah, you didn't believe it.
No, and I could immediately whenever I was done, and it took literally 2 minutes an eye, and
that's amazing.
It's like $4,000 for 2 minutes. Wow. But I mean, whatever.
Oh my God,
it works out
for vision and no glasses.
For vision with no glasses, you figure people spend money on contacts and shit.
Yeah.
But it works. Yeah. I appreciate you for taking time out to do this.
Thank you for having me.
I don't really even know how to start the conversation that we're gonna have.
Yeah.
But before the crazy shit that we get into, I'm curious about your makeup.
Are you?
Yeah, and about the eyebrows or the eyelashes and shit.
I love that you ask.
Well, I'm I'm super into it because my wife is. That's like her passion,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's like pretty heavily. She's my biggest supporter, so like I try to do whatever I can to like
Yeah.
learn hers.
Yeah.
And I like watch her YouTube videos and shit while she's watching them to try to like
Yeah.
pick up on it. But the thing that I was curious about is like you having a company. Like, what happens whenever someone reviews it online negatively? Because like you see people like Jeffree Star and shit like that. And whatever he says, he's like gospel.
Well, my story's a little different. Like I wouldn't call myself a beauty blogger. I wouldn't even call myself a makeup artist.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I grew up in the theater, like off Broadway, like regional plays, and I was always a child. I was always a kid, but I just like worshipped the older girls and their makeup, and I would watch them do it, and I would just like dream of it. And I was way too young. I was like 10 years old when I was like experimenting with makeup, and I would go to school with all this blush on
Funny
and
makeup.
all this bronzer, and I looked so weird.
That's what my wife says. She's like, my mom used to yell at me all the time. And it's funny.
I looked so bad, but I just like was always, it was such like a hobby of mine, and I just like kept practicing. And then I started to get into like eyelash extensions when I was, because I
Yeah.
never knew how to put falsies on, and I like couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm wearing falsies is what fake eyelashes. Falsies is what I brand and what I wear and what I sell now.
And
But,
that's what you sell eyelashes.
yeah, Baby Coco Lash. That's
How
it.
long you been doing this?
So when I was 23, 24, I started getting into eyelash extensions. And then I was like, wait, this is like ruining my eyelashes. I got to stop.
You were doing it, or
I was getting them done.
Yeah.
And it's a process. It's costly. It takes a long time. So I was like,
What do? They put them on your existing eyelashes?
one by one. Yeah. It could take like hours. It takes an hour usually, like maybe more, maybe less. I can't remember. But
And do they just like fall off naturally?
they do. And I mean, there's definitely safe people or safe, what do you call it? What are the
Whoever
I
puts
have
them
to
on.
mention I have like a little bit of memory loss. I can't remember vocabulary from some of the stuff I have. I can't remember words as well as I
Okay.
used to.
Yeah.
So I got to get that out.
That's all right.
But there's definitely people that do it safely.
Yeah.
But like when you go on vacation, you need to fill. I was like, I'm going to stop doing this. So I started practicing putting on fake eyelashes. And so to answer your question, I mean, I opened the company in April of 2017.
Yeah.
April 22nd, 2017. And I between the age of 23 and then, I was like practicing putting on fake eyelashes. I finally got the hang of it, and I like didn't like any of the ones that were on the market.
Ah, okay.
So I went back and forth with the manufacturer, and I trademarked this one lash that I still wear every single day when I wear makeup.
Yeah.
And that's my signature lash.
And what do you like? Is it for you to have your own company? Is it like overwhelming?
Yeah, because it wasn't my it's not my field. I'm like kind of underqualified. I went to
That's
school
what
for
I mean. Like, it's weird. I feel like
Yeah.
anyone who's wearing makeup and eyelashes and shit, it's like
Yeah.
they get into it to a certain extent, but like
Yeah.
people aren't like, finding out formulas of makeup and shit. And the only reason I even ask all this is because like I
Sure.
watch a James Charles video that my wife put on of him like
Yeah.
creating his like blush or foundation or some shit like that, and I was like, damn, that's crazy looking, like being in there and like them pressing all this shit. It was
Yeah.
pretty wild, but I've never seen anyone do anything with like eyelashes.
Okay, yeah.
And I just thought that was an interesting thing.
Thanks. Well, it's very popular now. There's tons of eyelash brands, online eyelash brands. But when I decided to go through with this, I had no help. Like no one invested in me. No one even like knew what I was doing. I
Yeah.
literally Googled everything. I had a lawyer to give me advice and help me with the trademark, this and that. But besides that, I was really like in a free for all. I just kind of took all my savings from, the money I made when I was a child actor.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to do something with this. And the timing felt right. And I just like trusted my instinct. I got an LLC. I got a tax ID number. I had someone help me make a website. I got a fulfillment team out in Tempe, Arizona. And there it was. And the first day, I did amazing numbers.
Really?
The first day, April 22nd, 2017, I killed it. Like
That's
I
wild.
killed. Like I knew that these I only came out with my signature lash.
Yeah.
and I knew that they were special because they're longer than everything else on the market. They're so light, they're so comfortable, so durable. I don't want to sound like I'm commercial right now because I don't want to sell it, but they're great lashes. So I had to trademark. I had to do something with them, and I'm so glad I did.
That's awesome. Now, what about like, do you have? Now, the reason that I even bring this all up is like I see all these videos and I see people that are like the beauty blogger type shit, and it's just like they'll try makeup and they'll just be super honest about it online.
Yeah,
and it's like, did you ever get anything negative from them?
I've had a few. Honestly, this is gonna sound really conceited. Everybody really likes them, but some of the other lashes are not as like amazing as my signature lash. Like the signature lash is like you can't go
pretty
wrong.
Damn good, huh?
But the other ones sometimes like they have a little fallout. And the one complaint about the signature lashes sometimes because they're handmade and because they're like not cruelty free and because they're like basically almost a material of cotton type. Sometimes the glue runs a little bit and you got to pull it off a little. But besides that, I mean, most people really love them. Thank God.
Pretty good.
Thank goodness.
Those people online are ruthless, though. I mean, like those girls are wild.
Yeah.
Even the guys too. But regardless, so the reason I wanted to talk to you is because I feel like that you have a pretty positive personality, and I feel like that you're pretty positive all around online, but you have a pretty fucked up story.
Yeah.
Now. We have to just hold on that. So you said you were a child actor?
I was.
Like, what do you mean?
So I started here in Pittsburgh. You know, I'm born and raised here. Up until I was 20, I lived in Pittsburgh. 21, 22 actually, roughly.
Could I ask you how old you are now?
Yeah. Take a guess.
26?
No, I'm 29.
29?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no, I was always like, it was just kind of in me. Like when I was a kid, when I was a child, like I just kind of had this like, I want to like put on a show kind of attitude. I would
the center of attention type.
I would like do it at church. I would just like interrupt mass and like run to the front of the church and be like, la la la. Like,
what did you act in?
So I got my first professional job when I was 11. It was a national tour of Casper the Musical.
Really?
Yeah, like the first world premiere Casper the Musical.
That's pretty wild.
With this Broadway legend. Her name's Cheetah Rivera.
Cheetah Rivera.
Yeah, huge legend. She like originated Anita and West Side Story. Like
total
Broadway legend and such an angel.
That's pretty crazy. I had no idea about any of that.
Yeah, that was my first job. I mean, I made good money. I was 11 years old. My mom had to tour. Well, I needed a guardian. My mom came with me. We did weeks in Atlanta, Georgia. We did Kansas City Starlight Theater. We did the Benedum, of course. We did Dallas, Texas. We went all over, and I was 10, 11.
What role did you play?
I had a role by a little girl named Precious.
Really?
And she was a pretty good role. I had a lot of stage time, and I did a lot on stage with all these big shots. So
that's pretty wild.
Fun. It was really cool, and I guess I kind of got hooked, and I got, but I wouldn't say I was really wanted to be a singer. I always just wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
it's always been something that would be interesting to do for sure. Is like there was they always like put on them like looking for extras and shit on Facebook.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I'll just like send emails to that, and the one was for Netflix. They were like, will you read this script for me? So like I had my wife like record me reading this script, and I felt so weird doing it. And I sent it to them, and they were like, come in for a audition.
Get
but
out.
I couldn't go, but then I had to go somewhere, but then it was I just didn't do it. I never pursued it.
You have a good face. I feel like you could play like quite a few roles. You have like a good look for like
a big
quite a different variety of like characters.
We'll see if that comes through. But
never know.
Now, what else have you done? Like, is it just like Broadway stuff?
So so then I dedicated everything to it. I mean, for me, it was just, I want to get this out. Like, this is important for me to mention. Like, it wasn't like, for me, like, acting in the stage wasn't like an attention thing. For me, it was an outlet to like empathize and like feel comfortable with empathy, because I feel like I've always had that. Mm-hmm. And it's like when you can relate to everybody about everything, and obviously I can't, but when you can try, I think it's just like, it's such a rewarding thing for an audience to be able to see someone portray anger or pain or sadness,
yeah.
because how therapeutic is that to see like someone be like, oh my God, like I can understand why that person is reacting this way in a theatrical setting.
It's almost
Do you know
like
what I mean?
real bizarre to watch it. Like,
Yeah.
Have you ever seen True Detective?
No.
True Detective has like Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson in it. And
Okay.
like Woody Harrelson, you know who that is?
Yeah.
So Woody Harrelson is like, I think of Woody Harrelson and I think of like Kingpin. Or I
Yeah.
think of like them real bizarre, like funny roles. But like True Detective is a show about like two people like hunting a serial killer, but they're both dead serious the whole time.
Yeah.
And they're so like they won, I think they won awards, but like it was like raved about. But it's wild to think about that because like, I don't know, Woody Harrelson, what I seen him right before that in was like Zombieland. And it's just
Yeah.
like a goofy
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
But then like to see him be like my favorite thing is to see people that are comedians and like funny people be
Yeah, yeah.
super serious and be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
good
yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
And it's always been super interesting to me.
It is.
When's the last time you did anything
I
like
think
that?
it's important. Well, so then I did a lot between then, but I was like, I'm retiring at one point. It just hit me like a freaking like ton of bricks. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Because I did Anne Frank as Anne at the
You were Anne?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Anne Frank at the Pittsburgh Playhouse. And then, like, within months, I did August Osage County, which was the biggest, like, honor for me. Is one of my favorite, the most challenging roles I've ever played. And it was like the dream role for me. Like, I wanted that role so badly, and I fought so hard for it, and I got it. But I was like, this is like my time to retire, because
retire on top.
So I was playing a 15-year-old, smokes weed, has a sexually abusive uncle, 3-act play. It was so hard. And then my grandma in the play has dementia, played by Mary Rawson, one of the most brilliant actresses in Pittsburgh, directed by John Shepard, also an icon in Pittsburgh. I was with like my heroes. I was so honored. Like, I don't want this to come off like I was like, this was an awful experience. This is why I retired. But my grandma had dementia.
Oh, yeah.
And the grandma, as Mary Rawson played, has dementia. And it was just, I was becoming like confused. And
Yeah.
the day of the last show, I don't think anybody in the cast knows this. I didn't tell anybody. And there's actually news coming out right now, but my grandma passed away the morning of our last show.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I had to do the show. I wasn't
Yeah.
going to not do the show.
Yeah, the last one.
And my mom and my aunt sat in the audience, and they came because I told them not to, but it was like, I think it was helpful for them.
Yeah.
I think, and that's like to my point about what the stage can do, what the theater can do for people. Like it was healing for them. And
Yeah,
you know,
so
it was
much-
just, it was confusing. It was almost like a little out of touch with reality. And just before I was playing Anne Frank, and it was it was
yeah,
like,
that's wild for sure.
it
Definitely.
was, so at 22, I was like, I'm going to retire.
That was it, 22?
Yeah, I think I was 21, 22, maybe just turned 22.
Huh. Now, like, what did you do with school and shit? Like, while you were there, were you like regular school?
So yeah, actually, I had to leave school quite a bit when I was in elementary school for my like first role. I
Yeah.
was leaving. I was taking half days. Like, I was taking a professional leave of absence. But since then, I went to Point Park, so it was like I was with the school. I was a student. It was all kind of connected, and it wasn't like a conflict.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a whole. I didn't expect any of that conversation. Okay, so before we get too into it, I do an opening segment with everyone. It's called "What's in the Cup."
What's in the cup?
So, what is in your cup?
Well, I started my day with coffee, but you were so sweet to bring me my drink of choice.
Arizona tea.
And there it is, the drink Arizona green tea.
See, that's my drink of choice,
Is
but
it?
I like the diet one. I think the diet one is so much
Do
better.
you?
Did you ever drink it?
Well, I just like the look of the cans, and I stick with the regular.
That makes sense. The blue with the cherry
so
blossom.
cute. And I know, but I should try the diet. I've tried a lot of them.
It's so good. I usually hate anything diet, but it's so good, and I think
Really?
it tastes better in that one. I drink it all the time, though. That's my thing. But okay, so like I said before, I wanted to talk to you because I can't remember how I came across you. I think it was actually from like Billy John from the 58s. He like shared.
Oh yeah.
He like shared one of your posts that like whenever all that shit just started happening, and I remember seeing that, and then I remember seeing someone else share something like like later, but I like recognized your name, and then I knew you were from Pittsburgh, and like I don't like try to limit it from Pittsburgh, like everyone I talk to from Pittsburgh, but like I mean that's kind of how it unfolds right now until it grows a little bit bigger. But I just thought like the way you portrayed yourself online, obviously. Okay, so explain to people what exactly did you have? Like, what's it called?
Synovial sarcoma.
Synovial sarcoma.
It's a stage 3 cancer that affects your soft tissue. Very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Now, how did you how did this even come about? Because like when did this happen? First of all.
So, okay, let's think. So, I mean, I was always very healthy, always very active, and I work out like 4 days a week. Love to. It's like really fun for me. Eat healthy, work out. And I was living in Miami with my boyfriend at the time. And I was going on these runs and I was like, my arm kind of hurts. Why does it hurt? I thought it was like a rotator cuff injury. I thought it was something small. And I've always been really tolerant to pain. And then December 6th, I don't know why I remember the date, 2016, I was in the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. And it made no sense.
Really?
They thought
it just like happened one day?
It was like internal pain, like this most sharp, inexplainable pain you could imagine. I can't explain it. It was the strangest thing. It was so strange. And, you know, I'm like begging, you know, Kevin's rapper friends, like, who has anything? Give me Percocet, give me Xanax. Like, and then nothing was helping. I was screaming at the top of my lungs for probably like 5 hours straight.
Jesus.
So he rushes me to the hospital, Baptist in Miami. And they thought I was just being dramatic. They thought I was like, they probably see it all the time. I don't know. They thought I was being dramatic.
Yeah.
Pumped me up with some morphine, gave me an x-ray, showed me nothing, called it a day. So fast forward, I'm like getting ultrasounds, mammograms. Nothing's really showing. I'm 26. Like, come on. Then I'm noticing like some swelling under my right arm. And it just like feels like my body's telling me like something might be connected to this. And I'm very intuitive, trusting my instincts on it. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like something's wrong. So I've been in New York on and off for my entire life. So I'm in New York. I saw the doctor who gave me a breast reduction. And I said, hey, like, can you look at this like swelling under my arm? What do you think's going on here?
It was swelling up a little bit?
Yeah, it was swelling and it almost looked like part of my anatomy. Like maybe like, you know, it didn't look like a lump.
Yeah.
Because it was huge. It was a massive.
And you didn't feel it beforehand?
It was under my armpit.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, so he's like, Court, I want you to get an MRI right now. And my insurance had just expired. I was under my mom's insurance because she was a teacher. Yeah. He's like, I want you to go to the MRI now. So I was like, damn, I might as well just pay it out of pocket and go. I mean, because I was doing these ultrasounds, mammograms, it's not that much money. Yeah. I mean, the MRI was like $1,000. I was like, I don't want to do this. But I did it. I swallowed it and I went. Here you can see there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That was under your arm?
Yeah. But this is after it
started to grow more.
So then I'm like, I get the MRI.
That's like a baseball, softball.
Grapefruit.
Yeah. Jesus.
Softball grapefruit.
Yeah. 13
centimeters. So I got the MRI and it's just like, I don't know, it felt fine. No one really was saying anything. I felt like there was kind of like some tension in the room, but they were like, let's get a biopsy. So I go back to Pittsburgh. It was after, I think, like Rolling Loud. So I was with Kevin at Rolling Loud and I flew into Pittsburgh.
Why Pittsburgh though? Is it because there's good doctors or is it just because this is where you're from?
Well, a little bit of both. There's my neighbor in Mount Lebanon, my parents' neighbor, is a nurse. Her name is Colin. She's a total sweetheart. And I was not, my insurance was I was trying to find a new insurance. I was paying for it myself, but it was all really kind of messy and it was just complicated. And she was like, look, we'll do a biopsy. We'll sweep the costs under the rug and just take care of you. Get this biopsy done. It's more important. So we do the biopsy September 25th of 2017 with Dr. Budway in St. Clair. And it was just like bloody.
What do they have to do to you?
I mean, biopsy's never fun, but they put a marker in. So that's how we knew something was a little, it doesn't sound too good. But
what does that mean, a marker?
Basically, it's a test. I wish I knew more, but it's basically a test of a tumor. They're analyzing a tumor to see if it's cancerous or non-cancerous.
Jeez.
So I do the biopsy, and like I'm like, this is whatever. I'm like taking selfies, like I'm like just like I'm like making a joke of it, like whatever. This is so stupid. Like I have like just a little mass. We're gonna get rid of it. We're gonna call it a day. So I go back to the doctor's office after I change out of my gown, and my mom's like on the floor, like being held by the doctor. I'm like, what the hell are you two doing? I'm like, Mom, get up. You guys are being so dramatic. What are you talking about? Like, what's going on? The doctor's like, I have some concerns. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. The drama. Like, what are you guys talking about? Don't be silly. She's like, my worst case scenario, it's sarcoma. Second worst case scenario, it's lymphoma. And my hope is that it's a benign tumor. I'm like, whatever. You guys are being dramatic. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really having that much pain. I wasn't having pain that one night in December. Yeah. I wasn't in pain. I mean, I had a little bit of discomfort, and like it was like just felt a little.
That's weird
off,
and it was just like a switch flipped, and you just started having like real bad pain that one night.
That was the one time I was in excruciating pain. I hadn't really had pain since. Maybe little like pinches here and there, but nothing like that was concerning or made me feel like I had to see. So 2 days later, Dr. Broadway calls me. She's like, "This is a sarcoma." Sorry, excuse me. She only knew it was a sarcoma.
Yeah.
Then fast forward, and so I was looking it up, and I saw like lost limbs and people without legs, and I'm like, oh fuck. I just remember praying that night and saying, just please be lymphoma. But I wasn't thinking it was gonna be anything. But I just prayed I prayed for lymphoma. I prayed for lymphoma.
Really?
Yeah. I wanted lymphoma, if anything. Obviously, I wanted nothing.
Yeah.
But I would have so much, because nothing. Lymphoma is an evil disease. They're all evil, but the sarcoma is. They're all dangerous. But so I was praying, and then she said sarcoma, and so we're all like just going through this awful 3-week period where we're waiting for what kind, what type, what stage.
What is sarcoma? Is that a type of cancer?
Yeah.
Okay. And you had to wait. So they did a biopsy, and then you had to wait for it to come back.
So she knew it was sarcoma. She knew it was cancer. Mm-hmm. But we needed to go to Hillman and see Dr. Goodman to get the like in-depth diagnosis and see what the hell we were going to do about it. So I'll remember that day real well. That was October 17th at the Hillman Cancer Center. Ugh. That was one of the scariest days of my life. That's when I called my friends. I said, "Hey, go under my bed in Miami is my emergency like shoebox with all my like valuables and everything that means anything to me. If I die, like give my company to like all that."
Yeah.
That's when I was like, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna survive. There's no way I'm gonna die. I was like 100% sure I was gonna die.
Really?
Yeah. That was the day I knew I was certain I was gonna die.
And they told you it was stage 3?
So I had a stage 3 synovial sarcoma, aggressive chemo, aggressive radiation, very dangerous, massive tumor. Like they weren't kidding. And then I left the room at one point. I don't know what he said to my parents and to my boyfriend.
Yeah, because like I remember it now because I guess you were in the thick of it, like the chemo. Because like I remember seeing a picture of you where you were just like bald, like just skin and bones, like pale, and I was like, holy shit. And then I remembered who you were just because of like I think Billy John like sharing your post or something like that. And then I remember seeing it like maybe like a little bit later. I remember you popping up through something and seeing that like things were kind of getting better, but like you were still like posting shit like that you were super positive about everything. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, like if you're, because like I'm like a hypochondriac about everything. And it's I mean, I've always been like that, but I just thought like creeping back through your social media and you like saying what exactly you had, and I was like, holy shit, like this girl has all this shit and it's like terrible, but you're still like super, super positive online. Like you were super positive, and like you obviously have a lot of people that like follow you and shit like that. So I feel that was just like unique, I guess. And that's kind of what like sparked my interest to like talking to you about it, because I mean, I feel that anyone could like Google shit on like WebMD or whatever, and like everything is just like grim, but everything is just super grim. I mean, like even if you have nothing, it's just super grim. So it's just like seeing your point of view, I felt was valuable to like people for hearing it, I guess.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, the thing is, like, for me, I wasn't going to go on Instagram or Twitter and just really get dark about it, even though it was kind of,
I don't know how you did it.
It's kind of fake.
I don't know how you didn't. That's what I'm saying. Is because like I feel like I would just close off into a box and just like, you know, wait in a room for.
Well, I say it's fake because I was so fucking miserable.
Yeah.
It was hell is not the word. It was so dark. It was so evil. It was so painful. It was such a hell that I felt, what the fuck is it going to do if I just, you know, reiterate this on the internet? I didn't even come out about the disease. I wasn't even going to tell anybody.
Yeah.
I got diagnosed October 17th. I got diagnosed September 27th with cancer. I came out about it on the internet November 22nd, the day I started chemo. Because I was like, thought about it. What am I going to do? How am I going to explain to people why I'm bald? What am I going to do? Hide this forever? Everyone was like supportive, like, yeah, you can, you know, keep that a secret if you need to. And then I was like, no, what the fuck? No, I'm not going to fucking hide this from the world. If I could maybe possibly help someone find strength in waking up tomorrow, like, fuck. And then what am I going to do? Like, lie for the rest of my life about having a stage 3 cancer that could kill me? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. So it was the day my chemo began, the day it started. I was with my mom, my dad, and I was with Kevin, and I said, everyone get the fuck out. Everyone get the fuck. I was pissed. I was so mad. I couldn't believe that I was about to start losing my fucking hair at 27. I was pissed. I was
how quick
pissed.
From whenever they told you what you had to chemo? Like, how quick was that?
They wanted me to start right away. But my best friend, Catherine, was getting married, and I wasn't going to miss that. I said, I'm going to go to my fucking best friend's wedding. I'm going to freeze my eggs, and then we'll do this. But I wasn't going to do it. I was really, we're not going to do it for a while. I said, I'm not losing my hair and my brows. You're not doing that. I said, no way. But then I was like, well, if I don't, I'm going to die. So, So I went through it.
Now, whenever, like, I mean, I'm sure it's hard to explain to someone, but like you starting chemo, what is it? You go sit in a chair and then they pump that shit through you?
Not for me. That's what it's like for the majority of people that do cancer.
Yeah, because you see the only reason I asked that is because that's what you see on like movies and shit.
I'm glad you did. And I'm sorry if I'm coming off angry. Like it just
No.
pisses me off.
Don't even apologize.
Thank
you don't have to.
Like I think about it and it still pisses me off. Like I would have loved to have a little 9-to-5 chemo. Like sign me up. I was fucked up fucking attached to that IV stand for 3 days straight. For 3 days, I was in jail for 3 days.
That long?
72-hour, 6 times. So it came to like 550 hours of chemo.
So
and like no going outside. Can't leave the bathroom without the IV. Can't do any. It was. It felt like, I mean, way worse in jail. I don't know. It was so annoying. It was called doxorubicin.
And like the process of that, like that shit being inside you, it made you sick? I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they call it the Red Devil because it's like an orange chemo. It's very like, they bring it in with like 4 people. They're all dressed like E.T., like those people in E.T.
Yeah.
It's like all this like drama. It's like it's the strongest, one of the strongest forms of chemo, if I'm not mistaken.
And then while you have this stuff in you and like this is going on, like, are you in physical pain while this is like going through you?
I have pain, but I'm completely delirious. Like it's like you're kind of like dead.
Disconnected from it all?
Kind of feels like being dead. It's like not really.
So 72 hours, 6 different times. Mm-hmm. Now, like, what's the process after you get like chemo one time and then like after you're done with that 3 days?
So I would do the 3-day. I would come in on a Monday. I wouldn't leave till a Thursday because my body has to recoup.
Yeah.
I would go home on a Friday. I would not be able to go upstairs, not be able to brush my teeth. I mean, the first round, I was like, this is nothing. Like, I got this. Like, the first round, I was like, wow, I just did my first round. My hair is still going. I remember, like, posting a pic. I was like, this is nothing. Like, what's everyone worried about? And then it
started to take effect.
And then it hits you. And then your body deteriorates. And then your cells died. And then you lose your fertility. And then your hair falls out. And then, like, you know, your body falls apart.
Yeah.
But So,
and all your hair was just like falling out and shit like that?
Well, I remember that very well. It was second round, it probably came out. They say it usually takes about 2 weeks. So then I was like, ooh, something's happening.
Yeah.
It was like I woke up and there was all over my pillow. I touched my hand and like a bunch of like hair from my hand. Like I don't have really hairy hands. Like I would just like see, like it was just, you would touch anything, rub my eyes, like to rub my eyelashes all over my hand. I mean, that's the most traumatic part,
Jeez.
100%. Besides the diagnosis, that's the most traumatic part.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that whenever, I mean, the only thing that I or anyone that's never had it could kind of like see an example of is the shit you see in movies. And like, it all looks like super, super terrible, super, super painful, like miserable. And I know it has to be miserable. So like, you're going through all this shit. Like, are you getting like tests all the time and they're like checking what's going on with it?
Yeah, it's like they have me with a cancer therapist. They have me.
What is that?
They usually do it for people.
Like, is that
especially
like,
young adults?
If you die, is that like you
we talk about it.
Coping with dying?
We talk about writing a will.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's kind of all, there's like, they call it a cancer crew, like your cancer team.
Yeah.
Like I have my oncologist, I have my fertility doctor, I have my team of nurses. It's like a production.
Yeah, I bet.
And then, you know, the hair I was holding on to the hair with like a bun. I was like, I will not lose my hair. I was putting it in a bun and I was like, there was a massive bald spot and everyone was like, and I was like, that's it. And then one day I was like, that's it. And the worst part was shaving it off. That was.
I mean, like, and I don't want it to sound like this, but you're obviously someone that like you do yourself up, you get makeup, you do your hair up and everything. So like, that has to be like something like devastating for you.
No,
because if I just shaved my wife's head, she would kill me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, you have to like get through that and like deal. I didn't know anything about like a cancer team, but that makes more sense after you say that, because like a younger person dealing with all this shit has to be, I mean, it's going to sound bad, but like a younger person having to deal with this is kind of different, I feel, than like someone that's like 70 that has to deal with this.
And that's why I get angry.
Yeah.
That's why I get so pissed off. I want to be in my 20s like every other 20-year-old. What the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, so like,
and then I'm surrounded, because I'm too young to be at the children's hospital, so I'm surrounded by
no one.
one.
Think about
because
that.
I'm too old to be a children's, but I'm basically I'm like 26, 27. I'm not a child, but I felt like, what am I doing here with 70, 80? And now, God bless them, but
for sure. And whenever I say that, like, I'm not taking anything away from like older people that's going through it. But like, while you're going through this chemo and shit like that, what's up with like the lump on your arm? Did they didn't take that out yet?
So yeah, it's a good question. I mean, here we are. We're four 72-hour chemo sessions in. Okay. Chemotherapies in, and then we plan on the surgery. So Dr. Goodman, one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my life, just retired. Performs the surgery, very successful, 6 hours of the massive tumor, massive.
6 hours.
Yeah, 6 hours. So
Jeez.
here's my scar.
It's not. I mean, like, I would
He did
think
a
it
great
would
job.
be. Yeah, I would think it would be like way more
No,
like.
see, it's because it's under my arm. It's about a 6-inch scar.
Yeah.
But because it's under my arm,
I've
like, lost skin here. You see, there's I lost part of my arm.
Yeah.
And I lost mobility. It's fine. But we did the 6-hour surgery. He did as you can see, an amazing job.
Yeah.
Like he made the scar like almost invisible.
I was blown away just by like my mom had to get her thyroid out because like it had like something benign in it, but like you can't even tell really. Like
They're
there's
genius,
it's weird how it is.
Yeah.
But it's like, so you go through this surgery and you get out of there. Like, what all happens from there?
So we do the 4 hours, and we do the surgery, right?
Yeah.
We are fucking praying. This is what you want. You want to pray that pathology tests the tumor and it's dead. You want to pray that the chemo killed the tumor.
Oh, instead of it having like living cells in it.
That's the goal. I mean, we're going to take the tumor out. That's
what
we can take any tumor out. Well, not any, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We can take the tumor out. What we want is the tumor to die.
Yeah,
we want
from the
chemo to kill the tumor.
Okay.
So we're fingers crossed waiting for this test result, and I was pissed. I didn't get a good result.
Oh, no? What did they say?
My tumor was like 98.9% alive.
Oh,
than
shit.
2% dead. So you want it to be like 50% dead, or
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I want to clarify. This is all the words of my doctors. This is what I've been told and taught in the hospital. You want it to be 50% dead, 60% dead, something. You want
Something
the
a little
tumor
bit more
to
than
die.
2%.
So the chemo wasn't really working for me. Basically, the chemo basically didn't do what we wanted it to.
Yeah.
So then I got even more pissed. Because we're like, well, we're still going to do the rest of the chemo. And
Yeah.
I was like, you're out of your mind. I'm not doing it anymore. It's not working.
Yeah, if you're going through like all this hell and then like it's not even like kind of fixing anything.
Yeah, like, what the hell? Like, I'll do the 30 rounds of radiation, but now I got to do, because radiation, whatever. But you're going to make me do, and then it was like, fine. What am I going to do? Say no? This point, like.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
this
insane.
This is like right after.
Jeez. I mean, like, so, I mean, like, if you're still doing chemo, or you still had to do chemo after that for how long?
So I did another 2, 4, 5, 6. I did another 2 72-hour inpatient treatments.
And like, what is like where is your mind at while this is going on? Like, you're pissed, obviously.
Yeah, because I wanted to ring the bell. I wanted to ring the bell when you're done, like most people do.
Yeah.
I wanted to step out of there and be like strong, and I was trying so
It's
hard.
like, this
I really
shit is in my past.
Yeah, and then I got this mucositis that put me in ICU for 2 weeks, where I was only eating ice. I was on morphine and on a like clicker thing. It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so hard. I still to this day try to be positive, but I'd be lying, and I don't want to be dishonest. That's why I like talking to you, because like being honest.
Yeah, I don't want you
like,
to lie about it at all, because I feel
I'm
like
still mad. I'm still mad.
I bet you are. I mean,
You know,
like,
it's
I
a
would
lot
be
of
pissed
anger.
too.
It's mostly anger. Like, I'm not scared of dying. I'm just pissed.
You're not scared of dying?
No.
You weren't before? I feel like anyone who says they're not is lying.
I was scared of dying the day I got diagnosed, because I was like, this is where all my stuff is.
Yeah.
It's like a subconscious like fear that makes me be acting the way I am. Why
Yeah.
I'm making impulsive decisions. Why I want to go on a vacation to Greece. Why, like I do, maybe I like spend too much at Dior. Like it definitely has an effect on me, like from a subconscious level.
Yeah.
Because I know it's there. It's like, they call it the cancer cloud. It's like there. But that, I feel more for my friends and family, and I'm just pissed, because I feel like there's so much I want to do in my life, and I feel like, yeah, I have a confidence and a positive outlook on it all, but like, anybody could die by walking out the street and get hit by a car.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
I mean, come on, like my chance of reoccurrence is like 99%. I'm not being negative. It's just, I'm also just keeping it.
You're saying currently,
Yeah.
you have chances.
The location, the size, the results of my chemo, we're really relying on radiation and surgery.
So you get that surgery done, you do them other chemo sessions, and like where's like the progress of you at that point? Like, are you getting better? Are you on like a
That's the problem. Like, we just don't have answers.
And that's
it's
currently
like,
still,
yeah,
right?
like so especially with the cancer as rare as synovial sarcoma, it affects one person, like 1 in millions every year. I mean, it's very rare. It's so
Really?
rare. It's one of the rarest cancers in the world. Like, it only affects little boys. Like, it affects young boys, like little
Really?
boys. There is a heartbreaking story. Such an angel just passed away from the same disease, which is hard because I didn't get to reach out to him in time. But I mean, it does. There are cases, and God bless Dr. Goodman and Dr. Weiss at UPMC. They're working so hard after hours to try to find answers, and there's a really great team at the Pittsburgh Cure Sarcoma, and people, we are really fighting for answers, but there's just not. Like radiation, you can't really calculate its effect. You can't see
Yeah, you
how
don't know
well
if
it's
it's gonna
doing.
work or not.
Chemo, you can test by looking at the tumor, but I can't count how many cancer cells are in my body, but
Yeah.
they're definitely there.
Yeah.
We didn't kill them. 'Cause-
So after all that's out, after you do that chemo, and like I mean, like right now you have hair, like everything, like you look healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, how do you, like, what do they say after all that shit? Do they say like, right now it's like kind of, what do they call it?
Well, it's called remission. I haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah.
Because I think we're being really just conservative because of my result. After 2 years, if I keep up like without any
Bad.
more tumors forming, if we keep this cancer at bay until 2020 June, July, we could explore that and maybe say that, but they're just being very conservative with me. They're not giving me that yet, and it's so frustrating because I feel good. My hair is growing back.
Yeah.
I'm working out. I mean, these are hair extensions. But
That's all right.
I'm my brows came back, my lashes are back. Like I'm really feeling strong. I feel so strong. I get tired. I mean, I have neuropathy in my right hand. I can't move my right arm. I still have some really ugly symptoms I don't even want to discuss.
That's fine.
But like involving blood, it's not pretty. I mean, I still have the problems.
Yeah.
But I'm just so confident. Like I feel so strong. I feel really strong.
Yeah. And I mean, like, so when did you get that surgery? How long ago?
February of 2018. So over a year ago.
A little bit over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, since then you've started to regain a little bit of strength. Like, has there been setbacks since that?
I'd be lying if I said it doesn't affect me every single day. Single day. I mean, there's only so much I can get done in one day, where I used to just plow through my work day and get so much done. You know, like my body's like,
like you're exhausted. Like you feel exhaustion and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the numbness in my hand is like whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the immobility in my right arm, whatever. I can handle all that.
Yeah.
The symptoms that I do have that I don't want to get into, just really uncomfortable and just hard to look at.
Yeah.
In fact, you know what? I'll tell you. So I was on the subway because I live in New York. And I threw up nothing but blood. It was just red blood everywhere. And it
Really?
just came out. Yeah. And it was just so scary for the people watching. Everybody was like, what
If I
is
saw that,
happening?
I would be very scared. I
It
think.
was like a horror movie. It was like all over the 6 train in Manhattan. It was red blood all over the floor. It was so embarrassing.
What is that from? That's from.
I could tell my oncologist that like my thumb fell off, and she'd be like, "It's normal." Like, and I'm just saying that like just kind of like to make it funny.
but-
Like, it's all so normal. Like, it's just so destructive to your body, and it's gonna. I mean, I'm in an early menopause right now. Like, I don't have any eggs. Like, it's all real fucked
So you
up.
had to get fertility where they freeze your eggs because of this.
Yeah, the chemo was gonna. I mean, they were nice about it. Like I said, it might not, but the chemo destroyed all my cells in my.
That makes sense. I never even thought about that.
It destroys every. I mean, it really ruins.
I guess that would probably happen with guys too, with like their
I think
sperm
so.
cells and
I
shit.
think so. Not so sure. I think so.
Now, what is radiation like? Like, what does that entail? Like, the only thing I could envision is like you're sliding into a tube.
It's really like no fun. But compared to the chemo, it was a breeze. I'll just say that. I'll show you a photo, but I know they can't really see. But
all
I mean,
right.
the damage it did to my body was pretty bad. But because I'm tan, because I have olive skin tone, it wasn't as bad as it could have been because I'm darker skinned from my knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, radiation just felt like I needed to sleep away every single day. Like I just slept.
But it wasn't like physically painful to you?
No, it was painful. I mean, it's like burn. You're basically getting burnt.
Shit.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like it's like burnt. It's like a burn. Like here, look. So like you see,
Oh my God. It does look like your skin is burnt.
it's just burnt. It's basically just burnt. It's like I don't really know how to explain the way that the process works. I mean, the medical industry is brilliant. They're
Yeah.
brilliant. The way
Yeah,
they
it's
come up
definitely
with
that's
stuff.
why I was like nervous to even like kind of talk to you about this, because I don't know how to like I don't know like how to like I don't want to like dance around shit, but you know what I mean? But so like what's like where are you at like right now? Like what is like you said you feel great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you have to come back here every 3 months, you said?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'm on there again, the official. I don't have my results yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some of them. I'm waiting on one more scan. I have to do another scan in 5 weeks because I'm showing a little bit of activity on my right side.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not seeing any new tumors. So
That's great.
the best.
That's great.
But all that matters is we keep these cancer cells at bay. You
And
know?
whenever you say
So-
activity, it's like cells.
There's a little bit of some clusters showing on my scan on the right
okay.
side. So I'm going to do another scan in 5 weeks instead of 3 months. I would
Yeah.
normally just wait until December, but we're going to do another one in 5 weeks to see if they're staying at bay. And you know, I'm so happy with that. I'll take it. You know,
Yeah, I
as
mean-
long as we control it.
Absolutely.
So.
Now, your whole like, I mean, I feel like you dealing with all this probably puts you like it gives you a lifetime of I don't know. I feel like it would just change your mindset for a completely different way. So like, I mean, like, how do you view life now? I mean, I know that's a broad question, but like, I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't, like, it's mind-blowing to me, like, how positive and shit you are about this. That's why I keep going back to it. It's like, what do you, like, how do you get through every day? Like, what do you do?
It's kind of strange. There's a lot of blessings in disguise through cancer.
Yeah?
There really are. I realize how much I love life, like how much I want to do. I want to, you know, like there's so much I want to do.
Yeah, like
for
you
the
were
world.
saying,
I want
like,
to
spur of the moment, go on a trip.
like I was even thinking about it in my MRI. This one I did
Yeah.
yesterday. Actually, I did a 2-hour MRI. It was brutal.
2 hours.
2 hours. It was so annoying, Chad. I had to. I
Jeez.
mean, because usually they just didn't feel that long. It was a bad one. I like itched and I had to redo like 45 minutes worth of stuff. It was bad, but you're forced to lay and think in silence. And I was thinking about all the stuff I want to do. Like I want to do Baby Coco support group, like a group for, you know, people with rare diseases. Like there's so much
That
I
have
want
to do this shit. That have to deal with all this shit.
Yeah, because it's such a lonely feeling. It's so isolating. But I have like a sense of, you know, inspiration to achieve all these things that I probably would have put on the back burner if I didn't feel like I have this time restriction. So it kind of
That's a good point. It
kinda
probably
gives
feels
me
like a
the
fire
pressure.
under your ass to
Yeah.
like go and make your life worth it.
Yeah,
Instead
like with
of
the
just
health.
like
Yeah, like the health I've been given, like the health I have right now.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this? This is such a blessing.
Yeah.
There's so much I want to do.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like some people like wake up like some people could just wake up and just like take their day for granted. And I feel like that no one will understand, you know, like I said, like whenever I talk to a guest, I think about them for like a week and think about like I try to like put myself in their position, but I obviously can never do that with you. If I talk to a funeral director, I think about what they do and what interests me throughout their whole process. But like, the only experience I have with all this stuff is like watching my grandfather go through it and like seeing what it is. But no one really ever understands what it's like for someone younger and like you're young, full of life, doing all this shit. And for you to like have this stuff just like stop you in your tracks for a minute. Yeah. It's just like, I feel like it's a super interesting thing for people to hear.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, I mean, like, so like, what's your goals and shit? Like, what do you want to do?
Well, I'd say you'd be a good actor. You'd be a good actor because you have empathy and you're able to empathize with other people, and I think that's beautiful. I think you're a great person.
Appreciate
I
that.
think that's so beautiful.
I really try to be.
It's very rare.
I really try to be someone who I just try to put myself in someone else's position because like you said, you didn't want to come on here because you didn't want to like sound corny and stuff. It's like, imagine how I feel hitting someone up, a girl who had cancer, and saying like, yo, like, let's talk about this on my podcast. And like, that's honestly how I thought you were going to think of like me hitting you up. Like, no, this dude just wants to like use my story to like try to like get views, but it's honestly not that at all.
Well, and I have to say, I've had a lot of people reach out to me.
And I'm sure you
dozens.
did.
And there's something about the Pittsburgh loyalty and like you, and I've, you know, given, you know, some time to listen to your podcast and listen to your, you know, conversations. And I just think I was ready, you know, I wasn't there. Like I was being contacted to do all kinds of conversations and I wasn't ready. I'm starting to feel more comfortable with because you have to understand, this still doesn't feel real to me. Telling you all this, it's to give you an answer about that, it doesn't feel like real. Like telling you about what I just did, that doesn't feel like that was my story. Like,
yeah, like I was looking at your social media yesterday and like just looking for things to like jog my like my interest really, and I saw that picture of you bald as fuck with like oxygen in your nose, and like the way you look now, it's just like it's insane that's like where you are now compared to where that was, because that was like a year ago maybe. Like it's inspiring for me, not even just like you, but it's inspiring. I feel like it's inspiring for other people that would listen to this, because like I'm someone that could definitely I could get into them miserable days where I'm just like, you know, fuck today. Like, I don't want to talk to people. I don't even want to go drive to see my mom. I don't want to like see anyone or do anything. But like, I try to like use people like yourself to what's the word? Motivate? Not motivate, but like inspire. I think that's a better word. And it's cool that you like do all this shit. Like you got the eyelashes. Like that's why I thought it was sick too, because it's like, you're not just like like doing nothing. It's like you want to live, you want to do cool shit. I saw you were in Greece. How was that?
I want to see the world, of course. And there's been like selfish responses to this disease that's making me, buy things I don't need. Like I should really be putting my money towards the millions of dollars I've racked up in medical bills. But, it's like impulsive. Like I'm, want to go out. Like some people's response is I'm going to, do nothing and, never have a piece of pizza ever again. I'm sorry. It just couldn't be me. I want to live life and take advantage of it. Thank God for my family. Thank God for my friends. Thank God for the supporters I have that have helped me get through this. Greece was awesome. I get sidetracked. It's life is strange. It's so weird. None of us have any answers. None of us know why we'll get the situations that we're dealt. We don't know.
Yeah.
But look how pretty the clouds are. Like, look how pretty the sky is. Palm trees are sick. The ocean is so cool.
Yeah.
Love
Pizza
her.
Pizza is awesome.
Minios is the shit. There's so much. There's so much fun to be had. And it's sounds so corny, but it's like.
But I feel like conversations like this take away that whole generic corny aspect of it all, because people could see a post on Instagram that say I'm doing good, I'm so fucking happy, something's going positive today. But I think the reason that I enjoy podcasts is because it's a long conversation. People could get more in depth about shit and kind of open up about what they want to.
Sure.
But one of the last things I wanted to ask you about is how do you can I ask you if you're a religious person?
I grew up Roman Catholic. I went to CCD. I do pray. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't say my mom goes to church every Sunday. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up. But I know there's something bigger. There's a bigger picture going on here. And I think that my disease was given to me for a reason. I don't think that I was unhealthy. I don't think that I caused it. Lung cancer, you might get it because you smoke. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for a 1 in a million cancer at my age as a female, something's going on. So to answer, I think there's something going on.
Yeah,
I like to believe in God,
and that's what was interesting, because you see someone who has maybe a child that passed away, their child passed away or something like that, and that can completely turn their world upside down. Oh, if there's a God, then why did this happen to me and shit like that? You know what I mean? And I don't know. I guess it's just people trying to find the silver lining. If you have a good mindset to be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. You'll see some of my posts where I'm God hates me. God fucking hates me. I went through all the bad things I did in my life. One of them was lying to my best friend Caroline. I was I have a boyfriend when I was 13, and I didn't have a boyfriend at all. And then later I admitted it to her, and I was I don't have a boyfriend. I've done and that's not the worst thing I've ever done. But I really went down the list. I was what did I do? What did I do wrong? Because people believe in karma and this and that. I think that situations are given to you as they're supposed to. I think that we are all soul and a spirit, and we come back to earth over and over and over again until we learn enough lessons that we want to learn. I could tell you the most craziest story about something that my therapist and I did a few weeks ago in New York. We did a meditative discussion, and that's another story. I'd have to tell you later. That's
fine.
It's incredible what happened.
Do you do that? Do you meditate and is that something that?
Not really. I wouldn't say that. But she took me into a meditative state. I'll get to it real quick. She had me go back in time, and I snapped, and I went to the 1800s, and I saw myself as a little girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. And I was in trouble with my parents because I was real rambunctious, but I wasn't a bad girl. I was just real crazy. And I was just I guess I stole a loaf of bread. And they cut my arm off. And I saw myself die. Mm-hmm. And then she snapped me out of it. And I was what the? I bawled my eyes out. Because I knew I could hear myself talking, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's to your point. it was out of body. It was so strange. I think that we've been here before. I think that I've been here before. I think you've probably been here before. And we come back until we learn, until we're developed, and then we become a spirit, and we go into the clouds, and we become a developed spirit guide of some sort. I've read books about it. I don't know. It's something I'm not sure of. Obviously, no one knows the truth.
No one knows.
But I think it could be definitely a possibility. I think that the situations we're given. Sometimes are karma. Sometimes are karmic, but other times I think that we are here to learn something. I do. I don't know. I do.
Jeez.
It sounds deep. I didn't mean to get so deep on you.
All right. I mean, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to ask you, but I don't know if there is. Is there anything that I missed, do you think?
I don't know. You're great to talk to. I could talk to you all night. You're
Same.
really great to talk to.
And I appreciate you like opening up about this. Is it, and like, I mean, is it, do you find like any sort of like therapeutic feeling like trying to talk about this stuff? Like
this has been very lovely. I don't like to talk about it too much because it's a dark discussion. It's a hard discussion. It's a reality that I still haven't come to terms with. Yeah. And it's going to be part of my reality for the rest of my life. And it is scary and it's uncomfortable and it's like you don't want to just talk about it. Yeah. But it's been very easy to talk to you, and I think that's a commendable on your part. I think that
I appreciate it. That means a lot to me for you to even like say that and
of course.
To sit down and do this. All right.
Thank you for having
I know you have some shit planned for tonight. I do one last segment with everyone, and it's fun. We're gonna bring some light to this. I do a segment called Desert Island Questions. Do you know what you watch The Office?
Yeah.
So they play Desert Island Questions. I give each of my guests 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until they succumb to never being rescued. So the first category is 3 things to watch on a desert island. So you could take any movies, any TVs, anything like that. I know we completely made a direct 90-degree left turn from all this crazy serious talk.
I love it.
And you could think about it. Like you get 3 choices though.
3 movies or TV shows?
Anything you want to watch.
Oh.
These are good questions, so just prepare.
Yeah. What do you think?
Take as much time as you need.
What I say is probably going to sound so silly.
You have you honestly could not even fathom the questions that people have, or the answers that people give me on here.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on. I'm thinking. I think I would take Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
That's good.
The series.
That's good.
It has so many deep meanings.
Yeah, that's real good.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Okay.
If I could do it today.
Yeah.
Probably because I really want to finish this series. Yeah. Probably The Sopranos.
I have not yet. I've not started it yet. I haven't started it yet. That's one of the that's like one of the TV shows that everyone raves about that I've never watched. I'm gonna get to it eventually.
It's on my checklist. Like I have to see that series before I die. Like The Sopranos, probably.
Yeah, Sopranos would be a good answer.
Mr. Rogers, without a doubt.
Okay.
And my favorite movie of all time is The Lion King.
Oh,
the original.
That's real good. Did you watch the remake?
No, I didn't get to it.
I didn't watch it yet either. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really care.
The original's so special.
I feel like people our age, because I'm 29 too, and like I feel like that. Mikey and Big Bob were talking about this because Mikey was like, Disney soundtracks slap. He was like, every Disney movie is so fucking good. They got the best music. And that's how he said that. And I was like, man, that's kind of strange. And I was like, well, what do you think about the new ones? And he was like, they're not made for us. He was like, they're made for the younger generation. He was like, it's not for us. And I was the person that's like, Will Smith ain't my genie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that Aladdin. But
he ain't my genie.
He makes sense. Like, it's not for us. It's for the younger kids.
It is.
But those are good. Okay, so those are good things to watch. Mr. Rogers, The Sopranos, and The Lion King. Those are good choices. So the second category, do you read it all?
I do. Yeah.
3 books.
Oh, I love this. I'm gonna sound so basic. Like I've only read a few books in my life. That's what I'm gonna sound like. I've read a little bit. I have.
Mine would be like The Giver, The Outsiders, and Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Okay, that's good though. My friend Jimmy put me onto this book, and it like changed my life. So it's called Norwegian Wood.
Norwegian Wood.
Yeah. So that's my first one.
What's that about?
the thing about it is it's not really about anything. It's just so psychologically, like, it's so beautifully written.
Okay.
And it's like, it's so deep. I love Murakami. I mean, he put me onto him and now I'm like obsessed. I'm actually reading another one of his. I haven't gotten to the end yet. Norwegian Wood, without a doubt.
Okay.
So basic, but I love The Catcher in the Rye. I do.
That's good.
I love it.
That's fine.
And I would bring this because I didn't start it and it was recommended by the same person, so I trust his like judgment. Winter's Tale.
What's
Is that
that?
what it's called? Winter's Tale. It's a massive book. It's huge. So I haven't
Winter's
started
Tale?
it yet. He just told me that it's like magical and I have to read it. So
All right,
I
Winter's
trust it.
Tale.
So that would be it. But I read more books than that. I just,
All right, that's all right.
That's my first.
It's interesting
recommendation.
because like if I ask people these and I say like, you know, what are 3 of this? It's like whatever pops into your head first is usually like what is subconsciously some of your favorite stuff or something that interests you most.
Yeah.
The last category is 3 things to listen to on a desert island. So 3 CDs.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm going to get dragged so hard.
That's all right.
Oh my God. I love all music so much. I'm probably going to take. Britney Spears, In the Zone.
I swear to God, I feel like I could have guessed Britney Spears. But
She just makes me feel so unstoppable. Love her. I'm probably going to take that. I'm probably going to take the movie soundtrack of Annie.
that's good. That's real good.
I love it. It's such an inspiring story.
It also fits to
love
that whole
it.
like Broadway feel, I
And
guess.
maybe, or between Annie and the Lion King original Broadway cast. Give me like a Randy Newman album.
Randy Newman. See, that's what I mean. You never know.
Throw
what
me
people
like
are
a
gonna
Randy
say.
Newman album. Like, I mean, rap is amazing, but like, let's like, if I'm on a desert island and I'm like, you know, counting out, or no, you know what? I need Claire de Lune. I need some classical. I need,
Okay.
Like, yeah, I need like some movie like I don't know.
All right.
Tchaikovsky.
Second to last question is a death row meal. So,
Ooh.
I mean, you know, you ever see them articles about people that are going to be on death row? They give them
Yeah.
whatever they want to eat. What
Yeah.
would you like? You could have whatever you want from wherever you want. As many different things as you want.
Oh my God, I haven't thought about that. If I could bring my grandmother back to life, I would have her spaghetti with meatballs.
Really?
Yeah.
We've had a bunch of them answers for sure.
She came straight from Italy and it was so good.
That's a good answer, though. All right.
I guess.
That's a good answer. And the last question is, if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Such a good question.
It is
And
good.
I'm not putting a lot of thought into this, but my immediate answer, I feel like will be my most honest answer. I'm gonna go with Mr. Rogers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good answer for sure. He would be so interesting to
I'm
talk
gonna
to.
go with him.
He, you know, one time we'll end it on this, but I saw him always, I saw like a meme that said like, he always said, I'm feeding the fish right now. And no one understood why. And it was because there was a blind girl that watched it all the time and knew he had a fish tank. And he always said, I'm feeding the fish right now. So that girl could know, because she wrote in and said like, did you feed the fish or something like that? So he said it on air all
my
the time.
God, what an angel! I just
Right?
adore him.
How awesome is that? It always stuck
What
with
an
me.
angel.
I hope it. I never looked into it to see if it was real, because it would
Yeah.
break my heart if it wasn't. But all right, take any time to promote whatever you want.
Oh no! I won't promote. That's not me.
What about
But-
your eyelashes?
No, it's not me. I don't even like promoting it on my page. I just
That's fine.
I promote love and and positivity and that sounds corny, but just like promote kindness. Be nice to each other, I guess. I don't know.
I respect that.
Sounds so tacky.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time and talking to me.
Thanks for having me, Chad. You've been such a pleasure to talk to.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I try hard with this.
You're really good.
Everyone else that's listening, as usual, I'll call you right back across the board. Check out the website, callyourightback.com. Bunch of new shit coming. Thanks for listening as usual. Call you right back.